and welcome back to Cue the Cameo. I'm in the process of moving. Sammy's got a big trip to Australia, so we are recording Peacemaker season 2 finale today. But you may not hear from us for a while, and we will be back in November. Wow, Peacemaker season 2 finale. Cue the non-cameos. I was kind of disappointed about that.
I was a little disappointed. Yeah.
I know James Gunn kind of rage tweeted at someone and was like, finales are not about cameos. They're about closing the loop on character stories. I get it.
Yeah.
But I wanted a cameo.
But then earlier on, like he teased so much that like, you know, all the actors had different scripts in these last 3 episodes.
Right.
And like, you know, the storyline was very like well hidden amongst the actors, and you know, no one really knew what the end goal was going to be. But then watching the end product of that, I was like, why was there a need for that? Because it seemed like a very predictable and straightforward ending. So I don't know. I was like, why did you feel the need to do that?
Right. I wonder if to him, as someone who is such a like comic nerd, he wanted to hide the Earth X surprise so badly.
Was it just Earth X though? Because like all of that came in way before episode.
Earth X, well, them finding out it was Earth X was episode 6, and he said 6, 7, 8 were the ones that were spoilery. So even though I think most of us picked up on the clues, multiple, that they were going to be traveling to Earth X, we didn't actually really get confirmation of that until episode 6. And I wonder if, just being a comic fan, you know, there are so many things that happen in the comic universe of Earth X that I wonder if he just thought, as a comic fan, that was the big surprise.
Maybe. Still a little bit of a, I don't know, still a little bit of a letdown for me.
What do you think would have been?
I don't know if it's because we're now so used to getting cameos. The end of season 1 of Peacemaker gave us the Justice League cameo. So like maybe I was expecting it too much. Like when he went into Salvation, I was like, oh, who else is gonna be here? Like, is it gonna be someone we know?
Yes.
But there wasn't. But I don't know if it's just because we're spoiled now, so we're like expecting all of these hard hits to like keep us interested. But you know, maybe that's a part of it. But I still, I don't know, I feel like I would have liked to see like a little bit more of like Justice Gang, or like, I don't know.
I think where I would have liked it to go was to see, he talked about how Peacemaker season 2 sets up the DCU, which, you know, with Checkmate and Salvation, I can see how that is going to happen, but I wish it had taken us a little further, like take us all the way to where the story is going to pick back up, because it is a very thin line that I'm seeing.
It's very like open-ended right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just wish it brought us to, okay, if we're talking about Checkmate, like, are we getting Mr. Terrific joining that? Like, are we getting Amanda Waller back? Like, are there other aspects of Checkmate that are going to bring us in closer to the DCU when we start getting Supergirl and Green Lantern and Superman 2? And so, like, we know the Thinkers like has been associated with Checkmate, and so again, I can see how he's setting it up, but I wish it had just taken us a little bit farther along on that journey to a point where there were maybe more members of Checkmate, or there were more people in Salvation, and it was already getting to a point where the gang is coming back together, because I think there is no season 3 of Peacemaker. I think it's been confirmed.
I know. That's what I was saying last night after I finished. I was like, okay, so does that mean, because there's no news about Peacemaker season 3, so does that mean that like he's just gonna be in Salvation until he shows up again in a movie. He's probably gonna be saved in a movie of some kind, right? Otherwise, what? He's just gonna stay in there the whole time, like.
I think what's also interesting is we didn't get any reference to Peacemaker, right? He becomes Christopher Smith at the end of that, and he's in Salvation as Christopher Smith,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't have anything with him, which we know with Christopher Smith's ability, it's not like he isn't going to be able to find the tools to survive and everything. He's so skilled, but
Yeah.
I think that it still leaves us at a point where I don't understand how he necessarily fits into the meta-human universe. He's almost like given that up, and I wonder if going into the rest of the DCU, Christopher Smith, John Cena is going to operate as more of this agency Checkmate character instead of as Peacemaker. We're not going to see him as Peacemaker anymore because, I mean, to be honest, if we're, thinking about Green Lantern, we're thinking about Justice Gang, we're thinking about Superman, Supergirl, while Peacemaker is a very skilled person, he's not really a metahuman.
Yeah, but he's like Hawkeye in Avengers.
Right, but like he can't play in that league, and I think this is James Gunn's way of like keeping a very beloved character and friend in the universe without necessarily killing him off. He's still going to be there in this agency spy capacity.
But he's kind of like tucked away now. Like he's gone from the universe.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
it's just
even reading Supergirl's plot summary, I don't see
like how does it fit in?
how it would fit in, right?
Yeah. So I'm a little bit like when I sat down to watch the finale, I had this notion in my head that at the end of the episode, I would be like, oh, okay, so this is how it's gonna tie in to the rest of the DCU. But I finished the episode and I was like, the hell? Like, how is this gonna continue on? And that felt like a little bit of like a drop for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I love James Gunn. I love the series. I loved it for everything that it was or is. I just wish James Gunn hadn't over teased it a little bit.
I think he did over tease it.
It's giving Life of a Showgirl. Okay. Over teasing. He just talked it up so much of there being all of these spoilers and Peacemaker setting up the rest of the DCU and integrating storylines, and we didn't get that. Had he not done that, I would have loved the show. Like, I would have just loved it as is. I think that he made it out to be a little bit more than it is.
I think a lot of the stuff that he teased happened in the first half of the show. And I guess, I don't know, what's your opinion on this? Like, for me, the second half of the show was really, besides episode 6 or that one episode where they're all in Universe X. Earth X. It like the whole second half of the season was really monotonous for me. Like the last episode in terms of storytelling was really choppy to me. I don't understand why we needed the flashback of him and Amelia at the beginning. Like, to me, that didn't add anything to the story. Like, they had been referencing it the whole season, and it was pretty clear to us already that like something happened between them romantically. Like, I thought they had slept together, but I guess it was just a kiss. But to me, that flashback didn't clarify like anything in my head of like what I thought had happened. So that whole beginning of the episode, I was kind of sitting there like, okay, like what am I, like I was waiting for like something to happen that like maybe we weren't supposed to know yet. But then the flashback ended and I was like, no, this is like, I don't know. It was just an odd thing to like jut in there.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the episode to me felt like very choppy as well.
I think here are the things that I didn't like about the season and the things that I liked. I didn't like how the characters were so fragmented and disjointed for most of the season. I felt like we didn't get enough moments where everyone was a gang together. Everyone was working towards the same agenda, but always in different places. And for that reason, the season felt very fragmented. We didn't get the group dynamic that we love watching so much. I think what you're saying about John Cena and Christopher Smith and Amelia Harcourt, if we take a step back and we don't think of this as a superhero show, right, what we might expect out of the Green Lantern or a Flash or something else, James Gunn has always talked about season 2 as being a love story. That has been the core of what this season was supposed to be about. We get so much of that in the intro dance sequence. And I think his purpose with the last episode was to kind of reframe it as the love story, to bring it back to this being a love story. And to your point, I think it's interesting that they did tease it as Amelia and Chris having had sex, because we think of them as these, like, I don't know, like kind of like hardcore, crazy characters, right? But in reality, they are so emotionally distraught and fucked up that a kiss between the two of them means so much. And I think that's what the flashback was trying to portray, is the extent of how messed up these characters are, and that just having a night out and having this like kiss was enough for Amelia to spiral, and it was enough for John Cena to almost center all of his actions in season 2 around this one moment, right? This one kiss.
That's very normal, right? Like the kiss to us is like
it would be right? Like we'd kind of be like, okay, this is maybe a little weird, but for him, it's like he is so invested in this kiss. It meant so much to him because of how emotionally damaged he was and how emotionally damaged she was. And so I think I had the first reaction, like a similar first reaction to you, where I felt like this flashback felt weak, like we kind of already knew something happened. But as you were talking about it earlier, it made me think of how intentional James Gunn probably made that, because he wanted it to feel like, he wanted to show the extent of how emotionally damaged these characters are.
I know, but like it could have been intentional, but like to me it just felt very dragged out. Like that whole scene was like over 10 minutes long of the beginning of the episode. And it was like
it was a long scene.
It didn't need to be that much. And then if James Gunn for like the whole season was like the intro was centering it around being a love story, like I don't think he succeeded in doing that. Like I don't think the season, if I'm thinking about it, I don't think the season was like a love story season.
But I think the core plot of it revolved around Amelia and Chris.
It did,
right?
but not in a way that like hit home in any way. It was very like, again, like
Christopher Smith's personal development was the core of the story. The love story was maybe more of a secondary plot. But I think the journey that if we think about where Chris started off at the beginning of the season and where he ended up, like there were a lot of highs and lows for that character, and he really kind of went through it all. He basically had to reface his trauma head on, and you know, he's basically come out of it at the end of at the end of the season, being who he finally thinks that he like should be, or who he wanted to be, right? He's doing things for the people, he's doing things for good, he's doing things with the people that he cares about. Like we have seen such a long journey for Chris Smith that where it ends up feels like a good place for the character.
I agree. I think where he ends up is a good place, but I don't think throughout the whole season his journey is very like well depicted.
It's very up and down.
It was really up and down. Like, and sorry, I'm just gonna go back to like in this last episode, he was really like barely in it at all. And they focused so much on the QUC and did the whole montage of the people like doing the world, which I thought was really fun. I thought that was like a really fun scene or montage. But like that was like half the episode again. And Peacemaker wasn't in any of that. Yeah. And like if this is a story about him and Amelia and their love story, like it's almost like pick a lane. Like should that montage have been in another episode? Like I think they could have done a whole episode on like exploring the QUC and then another episode on John Cena's development as Peacemaker. But like, you know, it was like 10 minutes of flashback, like 30 minutes of them exploring the QUC, and then like 10 minutes of his group coming to like save him emotionally.
Yeah.
And I was like, just, that's why I thought it was so choppy, that like those scenes are just completely...
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does say that he basically wrote this script like in a rush while he was traveling.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He was like in Hawaii. His wife was like yelling at him to like get out of the hotel room. Like he has talked about how, and if you think about all the projects he's involved in,
That's
like
a lot.
It's not just the writing and the directing of the scripts. He's also involved in building out the bigger DCU, right? Like it's not just the actual physical products or projects that require him to be on set. He's also working with DC Comics and Warner Brothers to get this done. And so I think that he's stretched a little thin. I think a lot of people have made that comment, that we can see the results of him being stretched a little bit thin. And I don't know, I guess final rating, I give season 2 a 4 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I would say like 3.75 out of 5. And I thought
we're getting into 2 decimal places.
I thought season 1 was way better. It was fun. Like I was laughing out loud every single episode of season 1. Season 2, the humor like really took a downturn. Like it was more serious. It was way more serious. There was much less humor involved. And I think partially because of what you said is that we missed a lot of that group dynamic. Like the parts in this series where I laughed out loud was when the group was together and interacting with each other. And because they were so all over the place all of the time in, I guess to be fair, more of these like one-on-one serious moments, like I was missing the humor a lot.
Yeah.
I like wanted more of it and wasn't getting it.
Did you like what did you think about Salvation? Where do you think that's going to go?
I literally have no idea. I'm literally like, I was like, are they going to use this prison? Well, I mean, I think obviously the prison's going to show up more in the DCU later on.
Right.
But like, and sorry, that was another thing that really bugged me is that like when Sacha Bordeaux is having her conversation with Amelia in the burger joint, and she's like, this whole time they've been looking for a prison for like metahumans, and it was like this huge like deal.
Yeah, it's like, what did you think
like,
they were looking for?
I was like, does that surprise you? That just... I don't know. It was like...
Because like for Sasha, it's like, okay, if they were looking for weaponry, would that have been okay? But the fact that it's a prison
makes it not okay.
I think it hit closer to home for her because she is a metahuman, right? She is a cyborg, and so for her, it wasn't, you know, with weapons. She's a weapons master. She would be able to live with that a little bit more, but because it became personal for her, it made her question the motive of the mission, which I don't think... It's interesting. I don't think that makes her a good person, right? Like, it's not until it became personal for her that she was willing to fight for a cause. Yeah. It's almost like that labels her as, like, a bad person. But I think I'm excited to see more of her journey. I'm excited to see how she comes. I would love to see her fight the engineer. I think that would be really cool. Okay.
But anyway, wait.
Final thoughts.
Wait, going back to Salvation, I still have no idea how it is going to tie in. I think they're going to start putting metahumans in there, and like maybe this whole season of Peacemaker was to just introduce the prison. Well, not the main reason, but like one of the reasons of the season was to introduce the prison so that they could reference it in future DCU projects.
Right.
But like in terms of how much weight Salvation itself is going to hold in the DCU, I don't think a lot. I think they're just going to reference it and like throw metahumans in there, make it like a, raft prison type, like reference. But
something I think could be interesting. We know the Thinker is coming. We know Superman and Lex Luthor have to work together. I wonder if there's a world where Flag and Lex put the Thinker into Salvation, and the Salvation becomes something so much more so quickly. We don't know if like time and space works differently there just yet. I wonder if there could be a situation where the Thinker is now creating this world or dimension on the other side of the door, and Lex and Superman somehow have to come together to figure out how to manage, right? Because I can see Lex being in it from the portal ownership perspective, and I can see Superman being in it because he's invested in the well-being of the metahumans who are trapped on the other side, but obviously doesn't want Thinker to succeed in some kind of like messed up mission.
And then Peacemaker's just there.
And Peacemaker could be, I don't know, working through there. I think they made a very interesting point to make it clear that comms and GPS tracking doesn't work through the portals, right? They have that very, I think, intentional moment saying that. So, I don't know. That's my guess.
Yeah. Who knows?
And this is a personal message to James Gunn. If you don't include Vigilante in future DC projects, I will be very upset.
We're boycotting you.
We're boycotting.
I just wanted more of him. He's literally the best. He's such a good character.
He's such a good character. It's so ironic how he's like the wokest character of them all. I think that James Gunn lost the fans a little bit. He lost the fan narrative. I think that if he had listened to his fans more, he would have brought more of Vig into the story. Yeah. I think that James Gunn is just he's so passionate about comics that I think sometimes he can have tunnel vision of like he wants to bring these comic visions to life, but is not like you have to walk the line of like, being true to the comics, but you also have to play to what the fans are into and what they want to see. And I think it's a very delicate line. Marvel fails at that.
Yeah.
And I think that James Gunn needs to do that a little better in his projects moving forward.
Well, he just started, so give him some.
It's not like this is his first day in Hollywood.
Well, it's his first time. Like he's literally in charge of all of these projects. So like, whatever.
He had his training wheels on with Guardians of the Galaxy, but So yeah.
Okay, yeah. Final thoughts. Yeah, good season. The front half of the season was way better than the second half. Season 1's still better in my opinion. I enjoyed that much more. And yeah, I guess next project, Supergirl, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what comes out of the rest of the DC universe, and I'm looking forward to see if Christopher Smith or Peacemaker shows up in future projects.
Yeah, I hope he does.
Cool. Let us know what you thought of season 2 Peacemaker in the comments and what you're looking forward to next. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Ellie. Bye. She's so miserable.